In this video, we're going to have a closer look at linear equations. Linear equations are statements that have an unknown value in it. So most of the times, that unknown value will be x. And also, in a linear equation, you will always have an equal sign. So a statement could be, for example, x plus 2 is equal to 8. This is what we call a linear equation. All right. The point of a linear equation is you have to solve your equation for x. So you have to find the value of that x. How are we going to do that? Well, you need to get that unknown value on one side of the equation and by itself. So only x can be on one side of the equation. And how are you going to do that? Well, you're going to perform operations on the equation. So in this, for example, x plus 2 is equal to 8. We need to get x by itself. So how are we going to do that? First of all, I'm going to write my equal sign. The equal sign needs to be nice and neatly underneath each other. Okay, so we're going to work from up to down, not left to right. Okay, x plus 2 is equal to 8. Get rid of that plus 2. How do I get rid of plus 2? How do I eliminate plus 2? Well, I need to make it look like 0. So I need to make it 0. How do I make plus 2 0? Well, I'm going to deduct 2. So I write down my first equation, x plus 2, and I'm going to deduct 2. Now, if I deduct 2 on one side of the equation, I have to do the same thing on the other side. So whatever you do, you have on one side of the equation, you do on the other side as well. So what do I get here then? X plus 2 minus 2, that's just x. Voila, I have that, just x by itself. 8 minus 2 is 6. So x is equal to 6. Found it. All right, let's have a look at another example. 3x is equal to 12. All right, 3x is equal to 12. So 3 times x should be equal to 12. And again, write your equal sign nice and neatly underneath the other one. 3 times x is 12. All right, how do I get rid of the 3 in front of my x here? It's 3 times x. How do you get rid of 3 times something? Well, by dividing it by 3. So 3x divided by 3, and you'll get rid of that x. You'll get rid of that 3. But everything I do on the left side, I have to do on the right side as well. So I'm going to have to do 12 divided by 3 as well. So 12 divided by 3 is going to be 4. And I have the answer to my equation. X is equal to 4. Another example could be x divided by 2 is equal to 7. Now, how do I get rid of a division? And maybe you've already noticed that I'm always using the inverse operation of my calculation. So x divided by 2, what's the inverse of dividing by 2? Well, multiplying by 2. And when I do that, x divided by 2 times 2, on one side of my equation, I get x. But if I multiply the left side by 2, I have to multiply the other side by 2 as well. So 7 times 2, x is equal to 14. Right. A little bit more difficult, a little bit more complicated would be 3 minus 2x equals to 7. As you can see, we have two calculations now, 3 and minus 2x. Alright, what I'm going to get rid of first, always try and get rid of your additions or your subtractions first, because that will make the equation a lot easier. So I'm going to try and get rid of 3 first. How do I get rid of plus 3? You don't see it, but there's a little plus in front, but we don't write that anymore. How do I get rid of that? Well, the inverse operation of plus 3 has to be minus 3. So I'm going to deduct 3. I'm going to do the same thing here. Keep reminding yourself the equal sign nice and neatly underneath. 3 minus 3 is 0, so I get minus 2x on this side, and I get 4 on this side. Alright, I'm still stuck with that minus 2x here, but it's minus 2 times x. So how do I get rid of minus 2 times? Well, I'm going to divide by minus 2. I don't care if it's negative, I just divide by it, it's fine. And I'm going to have to divide by minus 2 here as well. Minus 2x divided by minus 2 will give you x. And 4 divided by minus 2 will give you minus 2 or negative 2 again. So again, you have the answer to your equation. Alright, let's have a look at something that's a bit more difficult now. In this case, in these linear equations so far, you've only seen x on one side of the equation. What if you get x on both sides of your equation, like this? 3x plus 2 is equal to 4x minus 3. Now, you have an x on this side and an x on that side. We're going to move, we're going to make make sure that we have x on one side of the equation, so only on one side. I'm going to pick the side that has the most x's. So in this case, this is 3 and this is 4. So I'm going to work with this, okay? All right, let's get rid of that 3x on the left side. How do I get rid of plus 3x? Well, deduct it then. Do this. I'm going to deduct minus 3x. 3x minus 3x, well, that's 0. So the only thing left here is 2. What's left on the right side? So again, remember, everything I do on the left side, I have to do on the right side as well. So I rewrite my equation, so 4x minus 3. And I'm going to have to deduct minus 3x because I do it here, so you have to do it on this side as well. 4x minus 3x, that is 4 minus 3, that's 1. So 1x, but I'm not going to write the 1, right? It's just x. What's left here? And also minus 3. As you can see, now I only have an x on one side of the equation. 2 is equal to x minus 3. I need to get rid of that minus 3 here, okay? I don't care if it's on the right side now. I mean, it's the same thing. It works the same way. How do I get rid of negative 3 or minus 3? Well, the inverse operation is addition, so plus 3. So I'm going to add 3 here, but I have to add 3 here as well. Minus 3 plus 3, that's 0, so x is equal to 5. All right. Most commonly, we're going to write x is equal to 5. We're going to go from left to right. But this and this is exactly the same, okay? But we just rewrite it so it looks more appropriate like that. Okay, so that's it when you have two x's or when you have two different coefficients of x. That's what happens. Then another thing you have to be able to do with linear equations is actually make them, like get yourself an equation from a word problem. So for example, you ask a friend to think of a number, then he multiplies it by 5 and subtracts 7. He gets the answer 43. The first question, use this information to write down an equation for x, and x is the unknown number. So x is going to stand for the unknown number. All right, what happens to my unknown number? He multiplies it by 5 and subtracts 7. So that means multiplying by 5, that's 5x, so 5 times x, but we don't write the times. And you subtract 7. Okay, so first we multiply and then we subtract, not the other way around. And the answer he gets is 43. Voila. So 5x minus 7 is equal to 43. And now the B question asks you, solve this equation. I'm just going to work through. 5x minus 7 is 43. Again, I want to get rid of the additions and subtractions first. So 5x minus 7, that will make, if I add 7 on this side, you see, add 7. I'm not going to write it anymore. Let's see if you can do it like that. 43 plus 7. That's going to be 50 here, and you get 5x on this side. Alright, and have a look. Again, my equal signs are nice and neatly underneath. 5x is equal to 50, so 5 times x. So I'm going to have to divide by 5. So 5x divided by 5 is x. 50 divided by 5 is 10. My mystery number or my unknown number is 10. Alright, good luck on the exercises, guys.